Lead the charge with Milwaukee. Performance, power, precision, no petrol hassles. Learn more at milwaukeetool.com.au. Milwaukee, nothing but heavy duty. Aces, I know I always talk about the RIXXs, but I got to offer you the discount again. In case you've forgotten or in case you're sleeping under a rock, we have a special discount code for everyone that listens to this podcast or watch the podcast. It's ACES. Head online to RIXXeyewear.com.au and use the discount code ACES and you'll get 20% off. That's right, 20% off, 1/5 at checkout and free express shipping. So head online, RIXXeyewear.com.au and check it out. All right, do we have a big show for you today? Let's get stuck into it. Oh, welcome back to Tommy Talks. We got the king in the house, the money man, Cam Munster. Money, how did you get the nickname? Well, welcome, by the way, first of all.
Thanks for having me, mate. I really appreciate it.
Looking forward to this one. How did you get the nickname Money? Like, who gave it to you? And you obviously don't mind it. You don't mind it.
Actually, funny enough, when I was coming through the grades at Storm, I had a Snapchat name and it was called Young Money 94. And it was like, because I used to love, obviously, Young Money, the singer, the rapper. And I don't know, it wasn't because of my last name or anything like that. I just thought, oh, yeah, Young Money, how good's that? And then some of the boys seen my Snapchat name, and then I've obviously, through the years and that, produced some special stuff or things that I created out of nothing, and then obviously I started getting some good pay packages, and they thought it was because of the money. So, mate, it's stuck, and I've ran with it, and it'd be better than having the name Dickhead or Tosser. So I'll take it.
Yeah, you take all of them, really. You still 100%. Turn around when they yell out.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
That's great. So you love money, like you don't mind it?
Yeah, I don't mind it now. Yeah. It took a little bit to get used to. Everyone calls me Money. Only time I probably get Cameron is from my mum when I'm in trouble, but other
That's
than that,
funny.
I pretty much just answered to Munster.
I got the same, Thomas, only from mum or the teachers growing up. Like when you're in trouble, they call you Thomas, because I used to hate it, man.
See, I didn't even know your name was Thomas. I thought it was just Tom.
No,
there you go.
I hate Tom as well. Just Tommy. I don't know what it is.
Tommy, the Tommy gun.
Yeah,
That's
Tommy gun.
The Tommy gun.
Oh, mate, where do we start? Fuck, what a career. I don't even know where to start with you, mate. We can do This Is Your Life, or we can just talk golf off the top. While it's off season, we'll start with a bit of golf. Now, there's a lot of banter between you and Welshie. I hear a lot of shit talk on your podcast, The Clubhouse. And by the way, it's a cracker. I sit there watching it live every week. You've got the best seats in the house. But let's go. Where did the love of golf begin? As a man that's so good at rugby league, is it your release? Is it what helps you just kind of not think about the game, or you just had a love for golf growing up? Yeah,
look, obviously when I was 9 or 10 years old, my old man used to play a fair bit back home. The fairways and tee blocks and greens weren't probably as immaculate as Melbourne. A bit dry and roads and rocks out there, but I don't know, I just wanted to play a different sport. I was always really keen as a kid to play anything, give everything a go. Wasn't great at it. Had obviously some frustrations at times in golf, but that's probably when it first started. Was back home in Rockhampton with my old man. I didn't play as much once I got into footy around 17 or 18, but it was just a little outlet at times. But I pretty much just do it these days just to give myself, like you said, an outlet to rugby league and not have the mind of what's happening during the week, who we're playing. Just going through the week of just being relaxed. But also too, just taking my mind off everything, because I feel like my head's ticking at miles an hour, and I will always get up to mischief or do something stupid if I don't have something to do.
Have you got a busy mind?
Very busy mind. So yeah, it ticks a lot, whether that's what's racing that day or just doing something stupid. So that's something that really takes my mind off it. And now I've got 2 kids, so that takes my mind off a lot of things, and I'm really enjoying life a lot more now, that's for sure.
Yeah, that is great. And congratulations. Obviously, 2 kids and a busy man, the money man. It must be different. Your household must be chaotic.
It is actually. I've got 2 dogs as well, 2 visualers. I didn't realise how hard it was with 2 dogs. Had one and I loved it, and I got another one, and got a boy and a girl, and the girl's mad as a cut snake. So, got to try and keep them at bay as well with my young fella. The Terrible Twos almost coming up, so he's very interesting. He's very active, loves playing with footies, loves the Sheridan, so I might have to get him into AFL. But yeah, just love playing with anything in front of him, and hates the word no at the moment, and might have to hit up Jerome Hughes for a headgear, because he's had a fair few head knocks at the moment. He's just throwing his head back and forward, and There's a lot of stuff getting broken.
A little
that's
helmet
for sure.
around the house, you reckon?
Yeah, I'm thinking it has to be happening because he just throws it back like that and it just hits anything at the moment. And yeah, it's not great for him.
When you grew up, let's go to your upbringing, Rockhampton, as you said. What were you like as a kid? Like, what were your hobbies? Were you always a superstar at rugby league, or did you do athletics, swimming? Did you do it all, basketball? What else did you kind of have your fingers in when you were a kid?
I played a lot of sports, to be honest with you, Tommy. Rugby union, rugby league, touch, soccer, cricket, all that, Oztag. Played all those sports. I was probably more better at soccer, to be honest. I had the opportunity playing some really high rep teams. I was only, I think, 10 or 11 years old, and I was playing under 14s.
Oh, yeah.
So I was pretty handy at soccer. Probably shows on the footy field with my feet, but I just think for me, I was just loving rugby league because my mates were playing it. And I remember clear as day was I was trying to juggle sports because at the moment my mum and dad weren't financially strong enough to be able to financially look after me in all the sports. And so she just told me that I had to pick one sport for summer and one for winter. And just so happens that's obviously soccer and rugby league were at the same time in Rockhampton. And I chose rugby league over soccer. And I just remember talking to the coach and people from the soccer club that I was at. Pretty much told me that I made the mistake of picking that sport over the soccer. And now looking back at it, I probably proved them wrong. But it was it wasn't like it was pretty stern talking to. Like he was kind of disappointed that I actually chose rugby league over soccer. And yeah, it was crazy that I don't know why I chose it because I wasn't that great at rugby league at that time. Didn't make a rep side. I made one rep side in under 11s, but then after that I didn't make a rep side till I was 18. So
wow.
Yeah, I was probably playing reserve grade like school footy as well. So yeah, it's crazy transition and crazy how I'm sitting here today with some of the stuff that I've been able to achieve is pretty special for myself and my family. But yeah, it was crazy. I just remember clear as day as like a young kid, grade 8, grade 9, and someone's having a go at me about telling me, dictating what sport I play. So didn't really think much of it. I was more nervous and rattled thinking, oh, okay. Like, I don't know, are you my dad but
just trying to do the right thing, mate.
Yeah, just trying to do the right thing for my family and my mum and dad. And it ended up working out well. But the other sport was cricket. My old man was pretty good at like country cricketer, but I was never great at it. But it was just something to keep me busy while rugby league wasn't playing.
Were you batter or bowler? Or both?
Well, I was a bit of an all-rounder. I was a bit of a hacker, a bit of a what's it called?
Just go the slog when you
I was a bit of cow corner kind of man. Obviously, always across my body.
I can't see you sitting there with a still mind just blocking them, mate. You'd be going for the tonk, wouldn't you?
Even if it was like a nice 50-over game, I was out in probably 10 balls. I was always trying to hit the cover off everything. But I was an opening bowler actually for my for A grade at 15, and I was pretty handy at that stage. But I kind of obviously didn't really achieve the things that I wanted to achieve. I started getting the fear of the cricket ball when I was batting.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what it was. I just got like people bowling fast to me and I started getting, had this fear of getting hit with the cricket ball. And I'm like, and I started to go the other way and I was probably more I always used to say it was, because I didn't have the patience to be out there, but probably more the fact that I was playing against men and I was worried about getting hit with the ball.
A grade, they're quick.
Yeah, they are pretty quick. But yeah, now looking back at it, I was thinking, grow up, toughen up. But that was one of the reasons I reckon I was happy to bowl the ball.
Didn't want to cop it.
Didn't want to cop it. I was happy to dish it out but not get it back. So yeah, that ended up going that way. But then obviously footy went a bit further, and when I was 18, I was still playing A-grade cricket at that time as well. And I just probably more leant towards rugby league, and I was lucky I did that.
It's amazing that you said you didn't make a rep side till you were 18 after being 11. You look at all the champions, like, the biggest names like your Michael Jordan and they say the same thing with high school and whatnot, but you are a superstar of your game. So to think that to think that you weren't picked in those rep sides, because I think 16 onwards, but 18, not to be picked by anyone by then. What do you put it down to? Like, was it your work rate, you trying to get better every day, and over time you started to develop, your craft? Because if you read comments, I think I took a screenshot, I could read it later, but some of the biggest names in the game have wrapped you up, with the Wally Lewis of the world and saying you're on it. No, I'm just saying they're saying you're on a different level. So when you hear comments like that and then you hear where you were when you're a youngster, a lot of young people will be listening. Like, what do you put it down to?
I reckon it comes down to hormones as well. My balls dropped when I was about 16 or 17. I was a bit of a late bloomer. I was a pretty short kid coming through. Obviously, kids were man-childs at stages. I played with Corey Oates. He's the same height as he was when I was my age.
Oh, right.
At 13 or 14, like he was a man-child.
He would have dominated.
Oh, he dominated. I played footy with him on my team at times for my junior club. So he was outside me a lot of times, and I just gave it to him and let him do his thing. But yeah, look, it's crazy. I obviously didn't grow. Like I was at a private school where it's confraternity, and at that stage when I was coming through, there was 2 teams you could play in 2 competitions. But now the competition now you only allow 1 team from each school. And my first year of being at grade 11, I was in the B's team, and I watched some of my mates play in the A team, and they played the confraternity. They played against the likes of Kurt Mann, Chris Greshmill, like Tato Mogo, those kind of guys, Anthony Milford. And I was still probably just playing reserve grade against blokes that probably just loving school and loving footy and playing with their mates. So it was crazy. And then the following year, like in grade 12, obviously you grew a bit more, balls dropped, got a bit better like physicality, growing more. And I guess probably just getting bashed around a lot when I was a kid probably toughened me up to be able to play against those kind of guys or men, and it felt a lot easier once I transitioned into being the same size or if not similar. And I think I've also played like Queensland Cup, which is like VFL at 18, and playing against men really probably toughened me up a lot more and made me realise I'm capable of playing this kind of sport. And yeah, it just probably happened really quick for me. Obviously things that I started to understand a lot more of the game, and now when I was younger, I probably didn't understand the game. And now that I've been fortunate enough to be at a club where they dissect everything, and they've got so many game plans, and obviously they've changed the way I think about rugby league. But I think coming through as an 18-year-old, yeah, I just was probably a little bit of a short. I still had a lot of confidence, but at the end of the day, I had to bring that confidence on the field, and it started to work for me. And I was probably one of the reasons why I only made the Melbourne Inga rep team, is because, which was obviously a rep side. I wasn't even going to trial out until a guy called Darryl Horseman that worked at the club. He was pretty good close mates with my dad, and he knew the coach of the Melbourne Inga side, and he said he's not picking any players on names or anyone like that, because back when I was playing school footy, some blokes didn't even trial out, and they got through because of their name.
Yeah.
So and that was happening through all my juniors, and I was like, oh well, it's just going to be the same as usual, you know. So why would I bother even wasting my time doing it? And he said, nah, mate, if you play good trials and play good possible probables, he'll pick you. And I'm like, all right. Went there, played some pretty good footy. Ended up being named fullback for that team, and funny enough, George Grant, Harry Grant's older brother, I played footy with George, Harry's older brother, and he ended up getting signed by the 20s West Tigers team. So then he had to go to Sydney. They had no 5'8". So then I ended up slotting into 5'8", and we got a new fullback, and then, yeah, the rest was pretty much history. I played one game for Q Cup that year, and, ended up winning Player of the Year for the team. So it was, it was something that really resonated with me. Obviously kicked on after that, and, went from there.
There you go. So that was the moment that kind of kick-started the career.
Yeah, it was. And then the following year, I had Jason Hetherington as a coach. Used to play for the Bulldogs, Queensland. Rough head, he's from around our area and countryside. And, yeah, he just had affiliation with the Bulldogs, but also, too, we had affiliation with the Broncos. And he was trying his best to get me down to the Bulldogs. And funny enough, a guy, Paul Bunn, now still a recruitment for the Storm, was at Brennan's at the time. And he reckons he was watching me from 18 and further. And, ended up just getting me down here.
I was going to say, how competitive is it from, like, how high did they tout you? And, how does it, because I don't understand, I'm coming from an AFL background, there's a national draft and, you go through it and you got selections, a bit like the NFL draft and all the NBA. With yours, it sounds like, how does it work? Like, is it just who offers the best deal at 18, 19 or whatever? Or how did you get to Storm? And how did you make the decision?
Yeah, funny. Obviously, teams can approach you at all. It's obviously approach your manager. They can offer you as many years as you want, money, anything like that. But for me, I was at the Queensland Capras, Central Queensland, and obviously Butch had a affiliation with the Dogs. They offered me 2 years, guaranteed. Broncos offered me 1 with an option, and Storm offered me 2 years guaranteed as well with the Dogs. And I looked at it, and I think the money was a lot better at the Dogs and the Bronx, but I was a bit worried about going to the Bronx and having 1 year, and then obviously the second year was their option, where if I didn't play good the first year, they didn't have to have me. So I knew Storm was guaranteed, and so were the Bulldogs. But I went to Storm just because bellyache, the big three were there at the time, playing the best footy of their lives, and but will go down as probably the best 3 players in their positions. But for me, that was just to be able to train with them and say I had the opportunity to go down here, and it was a big move. But at the same time, my first year of contract was $5,000.
Wow.
I got signed for $5,000.
The money man on $5,000, that would have went in a week.
Oh, it definitely went in 1 week. I was a bit of a heavy spender, but that was $5,000, and then I worked as a membership department during the week. So if the full-time boys wanted me to be able to train and do all that kind of stuff, I was there as a backup if they needed someone to train on that day, because of obviously reserve grade players and that, when they have to fly up and play in Brisbane and that, they needed players to train on certain days. And I was lucky enough to be able to train most of the time in the year and really develop my game. And funny enough, I actually signed my contract, and it's really going to be hilarious, but I signed it at Kittens. I was 18 years of age. I went down there and I thought I was a rock star going into this joint. And I was, I won't be naming names of who was there with me, but
What, you got the contract out and you signed it at Kittens?
I pretty much signed it at Kittens, yeah. I was there and they gave me a piece of paper and I signed it, and the rest was history. I'm down here for almost 10 years now.
What an establishment, Kittens. I don't know what you're talking about, by the way.
It's a cat place. They sell like homeless cats, and I love cats.
Well, is that your big deal? Or are you talking about your $5,000 deal?
That was my $5,000 deal.
That's amazing.
That was my first ever contract.
Surely a couple of lappies as well.
And I was very oblivious to it all. That's one of my eyes. It actually opened my eyes to a lot of things, and
that is hilarious. And how old were you at the time? 18.
I was 18, yeah.
Fresh 18. That is amazing, man.
Coming from Rocky, obviously there's only bars, and
it would have been an eye opener, Melbourne.
Yeah, it was a massive eye opener. And when I was seeing obviously a different establishment and all that kind of stuff, I was like, what have I been doing with my life?
There's a little hint to all the recruiters out there. Take the boys to Kittens and get the contract.
Take the boys out and about. Let's show around Melbourne.
Just back to the membership department thing. That's fascinating. So you're on the small contract, as you just alluded to, compared to what you're on now, and you're working in membership at Storm.
Yeah.
So what are you just picking up the phone and calling all the members?
Yeah. So funny enough, it was hilarious. I remember picking it up, going, "Oh, hi, it's Cameron here from the Melbourne Storm," and everyone thought I was Cameron Smith, because I was first coming through. They thought Cameron, because every year they get obviously the Storm players to go and call members and trying to get them to re-sign and all that kind of stuff. And I remember just calling all the time during the weeks, and it was my first time getting on the phone a couple of times and like, "Oh, is this Cameron Smith?" And I'm like, nah, sorry, Cameron Munster. Like, right, what do you want? And I'm like, I just wanted to, and every time they had a little bell sitting on the side. So whenever I sold a membership, I used to go up there and ring the bell, because it wasn't many at all. So there was like a little bit of appreciation, and all the staff and all the people around the group just started getting up and about, and it was a good learning curve and good understanding of how organisations work. And obviously, we do a lot of the work on the field, and just to see how hard they work behind the scenes has really opened my eyes. And I really appreciate them a lot more than I used to. Yeah,
100%. Did you enjoy it as well? Like, as a youngster, you wouldn't have known any different besides from playing, sport and going to school. So did you actually enjoy it?
I loved it. It was something different. I was thrown straight into the deep end. Knew nothing about obviously memberships, logistics, computers in general. Being a country kid. And I didn't know anything about dress shoes or slacks. I had to wear and I'm like, what am I wearing here? Like, coming to work. Like, I used to work at sports scene or now Intersport in Rockhampton. I was just working there, just obviously wearing runners and socks and a polo and training shorts. So coming to this, I was like, what am I doing?
Full corporate attire.
I've gone from obviously bogan time and then to the dream time with obviously the business side of things. So. No, it was a really different transition, but I loved every minute of it.
Did it give you a bit more of a perspective on how hard you wanted to train and how you probably didn't want to be sitting up there and you wanted to be down there full time as well?
For sure. I massively realised on how lucky I was to be able to play rugby league as a sport, but also a job. Loved every minute being outside, but I'm a bit antsy and I get a bit jittery at times, and I always wanted to be up and down. And me sitting at a table and a desk from 9 to 4, 9 to 5 was pretty. It was pretty boring at times. I used to go up all the time just to say I was going to the toilet, but it was just to go for a walk.
Yeah.
And then come back and then go again. But I was probably doing that at least every hour or so. So they probably caught on eventually. But it was just a different transition. Like, I went from work, jumped on the train from obviously Richmond to Glenferrie and stayed at Swinburne University with some of my mates. They were playing 20s at the time as well. So it was a good learning curve and something I'm really thankful I sticked out.
That's awesome, man. I didn't know that. Do many people know that story?
Nah, not many probably know that story at all. Everyone probably thought I come down here with a lot of money and
that's what I love about doing these is you find the gems and the reality of how hard it is at the start and how hard you've worked to get to where you are, and everyone thinks it's just, it's not everyone, I shouldn't say everyone, but people don't understand, me included, and that's what I love about having these chats. That is gold. And I think it's maybe something that, Storm do that, don't they? They put blokes to work for 2 weeks, don't they? All the first years, is that right?
Yep, for sure. First 2 weeks, obviously the preseason, start gym at 5 o'clock, finish by 6:30, and then you get all your work gear on and go and work till 2:30, 3 o'clock, and then you come back and train. You get work Monday, Tuesday. You have training off, but then you do the full big day of work. So you go from like whatever time you start work, maybe 8 o'clock, finish at like 5 then instead of being 2 or something because it's a big day, work day, and it goes for that 5 days, and then you train obviously Saturday, and then go roll around. And the first week everyone's all up and about and loving it, and we're like really excited about preseason. And then you come back and you just watch the boys just absolutely go apple crumble from about Tuesday, Wednesday. It just slides very massively. They're very quiet and they just can't wait to put the tools down.
Are they all on the tools, or are they like doing membership as well? Like, is there any corporate, or are they all kind of on the tools?
Nah, all labouring, all tools.
We'll have to get Milwaukee to sort them out. They've probably already got the Milwaukee tools down there. Let's be fair, Nickam.
Nah, so they're all like obviously Robbo, Peter Robinson from the club, Brian Phelan. They've got obviously labourers, or they've got construction workers, or they've got concreting, or they've got...
Oh, so it's hard labour.
Hard labour. They're digging holes in that. And,
man.
So I'm not too sure how hard they work, but you can definitely tell the ones that worked really hard because they come back and there's...
Yeah, they've fallen asleep. They have to go through meetings and all that as well?
Yeah, so a lot of the younger boys, for sure, I've seen some of the younger boys dozing off, and you just hear bellyache blowing up going, open your eyes, like obviously 2 weeks of hard labour. Some of these people are doing it for like their whole lives, So he just does that for more of appreciation on how lucky some of the younger boys are coming through. That like you're doing this as a job as well as obviously you've always wanted to do it as a kid, but you just got to show how hard it is, like to be able to stay here.
Do the boys come with some funny stories from work? Like obviously they'd be hating it, but like they come. Do you guys like just how's your day been, boys?
I don't want to run it in too much because obviously I did it 10 years ago. It was dog shit, but but I just remember like watching the boys come back because some of the boys got nice little hands and they haven't ripped any skin off, and you can just see there's blisters and there's skin peeling off, and you can just see how they've got dirt all over them. And yeah, it's a very, very good eye opener just to see some of the young fellas that haven't probably never worked a hard day in their life to see how hard it is for some people that do it about 6 o'clock in the morning, sometimes till 6 at night. So it's it's something that they appreciate, I'm sure.
No, we love all the tradies and anyone out there that gets up that early. It's tough, and you see it like not only that, like. I got a mate Benny, he lives up in Goldie there, and he goes to the gym at 4:30, then he's a sparky, so he goes to work, then he'll come home and he's playing footy, so he goes to footy train, and by 8 o'clock he's twitching on the couch, he's got to go to bed. They just work so hard, the tradies, and you just got so much appreciation. So I think it's good amazing what Storm does. I'm surprised not a lot, I haven't heard many other clubs do that. Do you know anyone else that does that?
No, I don't. I haven't heard anyone obviously come to our club from different clubs.
You'd think someone would steal because Storm's a very successful club. You'd think people would steal it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they probably would, or they probably toss it up. But I guess it all depends on the playing group too.
Yeah.
Like if the playing group want to buy into it. But yeah, I think Bellyache's had so much success at the club that everyone just goes, "Yep, we'll do it. No dramas. We want success." So it just probably steals that hardness and just shows them. Like how hard preseason really is for our club.
Yeah, back to Bellyache. So you're calling him Bellyache, which I find hilarious. I think you said it earlier. I just didn't really understand it, but now I get it. You've got a great relationship with him. You two, I've heard that you can go as hard as you want at each other. It's a real love-hate, mainly love, but you guys can probably say things to each other because your relationship's so strong. How have you formed your relationship over the years to get to the point where you can comfortably sit here and call him Bellyache?
Oh, I've probably called him a lot worse than Bellyache. But look, it's been a long-going thing. I guess there's that mutual respect and what you've done as well. Probably took me 3 or 4 years, but in saying that, I was pretty cheeky and confident kid coming through. But I think what was a real thing that obviously respectful thing, he obviously, you probably not too many people have heard this and some people have, but first, obviously, I was playing really good footy for Queensland Cup. Finally got my opportunity to play a trial game in Griffith against the Raiders, and I was single at the time, and I was rooming with Ryan Hinchcliffe at the time, and got a match on Tinder, went out for a bit, and then come back about midnight. And I tried to sneak in, and I don't think I woke Hinchy up or whatsoever. But next morning, I was obviously telling the boys, bragging about it, like, saying I was out and rah. And I just remember, I didn't realise, but Bellag supposedly apparently was behind me. Didn't say anything, and then waited until I played the trial to see how it'd go. I was dog shit at trial, like probably one of the worst games I played. I think I knocked the ball on a couple of times, and I was playing on the wing in that game and tried to take down the sideline, try to burn the winger, and I had a lot of space, and he ended up grabbing me like maybe 5 meters up once I went past him and took me in the touch. And anyway, so after the game's finished, I was like, oh yeah, that's another game gone and dusted. Probably won't get picked again this year. And then I just remember him just yelling my name out in front of the boys and just started giving it to me, calling me like all these sorts of names and said, you need to fucking get your preparation sorted and get your mind on the job, and either you want to play rugby league and you go fucking dig holes back home in Rockhampton because I'm not having you at this club if you're going to keep doing what you're doing. And I was like, wow. And then I finished, he kept spraying me, and then a couple of physios come up to me and goes, mate, are you all right? I'm like, oh yeah, why, what's up? He goes, oh man, that's one of the biggest sprays like he's given someone for a while. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I'm fine, mate. I'm water for ducks back. And then I went over to the members and like got my gear, and some of the members started to console me and go, are you all right? I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, oh mate, we heard every word he said over there. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like, oh, it's fine. It is what it is. It's good. I need that probably kick up the arse. And they're like, oh yeah, okay, that's all right then, all good then. And then yeah, I just didn't think much of it. But now looking back on it, I'm kind of glad he gave me that kick up the arse. Like it was like I said, a water for ducks back, and obviously things have gone on further and done some silly stuff, but the respect that we both had for each other, and I'm able to pretty much boys call him, think he's my dad. But yeah, it's just like respect and we have for each other, and just obviously when I have something that I think that's gone past that he should be probably pulling up, or vice versa, he thinks that, or he'll come up to me and give me some wise words on my training or what were you thinking in the game, and obviously when he needs to give me a spray or tell me that I need to work on things, he's not afraid to tell me, and I really appreciate that from a coach, and not only the person from being a coach, he's probably more looking at as a person that he wants everyone to succeed and be good at what they do, and not ruin their career or just go past their career just being a mediocrity player and just being okay with certain things. And I think he just wants the best for everyone, and like you said, you get more out of the game if you put all your into it, and if you're not going to put all your might into it, you might as well go do something else that you enjoy. So that's something that really resonates with me really well from him, and that's why I play hard, and then I'll feel hard as well, party hard as well. So that's just my mindset at things. So if you're going to do something, you might as well do the hardest and the most, I guess, most ability. You got to be able to put it all into it and put your whole life into it. And if you want to do that, then you're going to succeed at some certain stage of your life.
You mentioned father figure. Do you think you'd be where you are today without him?
Nah, I don't reckon I will be. Just with the stuff that he's mentored me with, and the way he's obviously gone about his thing with the game. I'm not having to go at any other coaches in the competition, but if I'm so grateful to be able to go to the Melbourne Storm at a certain age that I was able to do and develop as a player and as a person, because I had some rough edges. I was very genuine, and I was very led very easily in certain spots, and yeah, like I said, he guided me in the person and the pathway that I needed to go, and if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have the career that I would have had, let alone probably still being in the game. So I owe him a lot, and I'm just thankful that he's on for another year.
Now you've given him a great plug there, which is why you call him Ballyache, because you love him to bits. Let's go to some moments where you've had your run-ins or some funny encounters, because I've heard you two do have a fair, few laughs, and some of the other boys go, geez, I couldn't say that. But you've got that relationship and that bond clearly because of the stuff that you've been through and the things you've done on the field, and as you said, the respect. Nothing like winning team success together. What are some funny things that you remember with Craig? Even sprays or other things, maybe like where you've thought, nah, that's out of line, and you've given him a serve back. Is there anything that comes to mind?
There's a fair few. A lot of times he obviously gives me shit all the time, and I always just say to him, my response lately has been, just brush your teeth. Because obviously when he talks and stuff, he spits. And there's a lot of times when you're spraying someone, you just can't hold it in, because when he's spraying, he's really close to you. He starts spitting at you. It's like a little python, like a spitting python. But yeah, he's so passionate. It's just I can't hold it in sometimes. I just start laughing. But There's a fun one where I wasn't at me. It was at one of my old roommates, Joe Stimson. We were in Bali. He fell off his bike. I think he broke something in his hand and he had to have surgery on it. And that was the off season and he had to come back and obviously got the surgery done. I remember coming back into the first preseason meeting and obviously gave us shit about getting in an accident. And then he goes, Munster, you're a fucking idiot for fucking jumping on a bike in the first place in Bali. But it's Joe, you fucking ate the bike. Because he come back that big. He's just come at him and just gone, mate, you fucking eating the bike now. And he's like, you fat fucking oh mate, everyone in the room just lost it, and we couldn't hold it together. But just those things, like he's just off his head sometimes. And whatever comes to the top of his head, he's
just says it.
He just says it.
And then he walks out apparently and just starts laughing with the boys.
He laughs at his own joke.
It's so good.
Like if he says something and it's a joke and no one laughs, he laughs at his own. But he always laughs at his own jokes. He thinks it's funny. So yeah, but then also too, I give him shit sometimes because some of the guys in our game, like obviously have very hard pronunciations of their last name, and he gets them wrong all the time, and I just sit there and just start giving it to him about it, and he just starts losing and starts swearing at me, and no mate, then every time it's a long ongoing joke for the week. If he gets someone's name wrong for the week of playing, I'll just say that in front of him and we'll walk past him and that. I just say it the way how he says it. So it's a good
accountability for the cocker.
Yeah, he needs to be put in line. And he's the most tightest bloke in rugby league too.
Oh yeah,
he wouldn't
shout if a shark bit him.
Wouldn't shout if a shark bit him. So like he's got obviously things that he owes people money and that. It was the funniest thing ever. It was the best thing I've seen. Harry Grant obviously had what would have been about 50 odds. Gave him $50 odds to kick the ball and hit the crossbar. And Billy goes, yeah, I'll take you. Kicked it, hit the crossbar, and he didn't pay him for almost 4 months. It was only $50.
Oh,
it was only $50. He just goes $50, like $50. He goes, yeah, I'll take you $50. It was a long shot odds to Harry to hit the crossbar. Mate, it took him 4 months to pay $50, and the bloke's on 1.6 million a year. That's probably being generous. He wouldn't get out of bed for that, but like that's just how tight he is.
Oh, mate, that's very funny. And I don't think a lot of I know we're sitting here taking the piss, but that relationship with your coach is special. You know, like you don't get. So a lot of coaches, you'd think they're one of the other relationships, but when they give a spray, they then sometimes walk around the facility for a couple of days and they're real grumpy and everyone stays away. Where it sounds like Craig takes the piss pretty quickly and the boys don't feel too scared. Is that the right observation, or the boys still a bit rattled?
Oh, I reckon it depends on the person. Obviously, a lot of people are a little bit different. Like I'd probably get more out of a spray. And some of the other younger boys probably need a little bit of nurturing. And
does he put his arm around those guys, and he knows how to kind of? That's why he's such a good coach. He knows who to push and who not to.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of the reasons why we do that. Obviously, that IDQ camp. I don't quit camp, where you obviously don't sleep for 2.5 days, do a lot of work, do a lot of like hills, or do a lot of like stairs at Crown, just to try and get your mental capacity and start getting fatigued in it, and just to see what you do under pressure, and just to see how you cope with pressure, and see how you go with like demands and listening, and how you cope with copping a spray. Like from the guys that run it, they might spray you in a certain area, and it all depends on how you respond. Like if you respond like and then start working harder, then obviously he knows that you can handle the spray, and then the other guys are like, well, if they can't and they go onto their shell, that's where he knows, okay, he reckons those 2.5 days shows him more about the person than their whole life, So he gets a lot out of that, and that's something that really opened my eyes about, is how he can obviously change with certain people, and he has that ability to be able to adapt to certain personalities, and I think that's what makes him such a great coach. And I'll be lucky to have him, and it's one of the reasons why I stayed for the next 4 years.
Well, let's talk about that. There was a big decision. We'll go back to your career, but I want to go to this question now, because there was a big decision where a lot of Wayne Bennett is the head coach, and big money on the table, and your name was popped up, and everyone probably thought you were going to leave. On the outside, there's a huge buzz. The media was going crazy, and you're a loyal man, and you stayed. Talk to us about what was going on in that period. Were you ever going to, were you ever going to potentially go, or was it like you were always staying? You just obviously, the media got such big platforms. They put that out there, and you had to wait till you signed to squash it. Like, talk to me about that whole experience.
Yeah, it was a crazy experience. We obviously, I did the positives and the negatives with both obviously contracts, and I would have been the most highest paid player of the game if I signed the contract. And it was over a 4-year period, and I probably wouldn't have to half work again, if that's to be completely honest, if I did right with the money and that kind of stuff. And looked at the positives, obviously a lot of money, but then also comes a lot of pressure, and being the marquee player, which I would have loved to have been at the Dolphins, and going back to Queensland, where I hopefully will finish up my life. Well, once I finish my career, and hopefully in Melbourne, and be a one-club player and go from there. But that's something that myself and my partner really want to move back up to Queensland at the end of our the next chapter in our life, if we're able to, if we're financially stable enough. And just obviously that was the lifestyle that we wanted to have our kids and nippers and all that kind of stuff, and sunny coast and around that area of Brisbane. And that was obviously the positive. The negative was I went to Noosa with my partner and kid. Well, I didn't have kids at the time. She was pregnant with her first, but just how much rugby league's massive up in Queensland, and I forgot how much you're in the limelight up there. And I remember having a feed at Noosa Surf Club, and it went cold. Like my missus was taking photos non-stop, and by the time I got down to eat my food, it was already cold, So that just showed me like where I wouldn't be able to live the life I'd be able to live down here, and be able to just go to a cafe and chill out and spend time with my family. And I know there's obviously positive and highs and lows about being popular and be able to obviously be a fan for a kid. And I was a kid as a fan watching up to some of the blokes that played the game, but still got to live your life. And I felt like I wouldn't be able to do that up there, and it was going to be too hectic a lifestyle. And I probably would have got surrounded by the fame and everything. I felt like I can just do my own thing down here. And obviously the positives for Melbourne was being a one-club player, still a competitive team. We made the prelim this year, which was obviously a great stepping stone for us as a club. I know we wanted to obviously be in the big dance, but for such a young group, I felt like we done a lot better than I thought we would have, which was like a positive sign, but also pleasing. So only going to get better next year with all the experience that the younger boys have had. And obviously spoken to the club. I went down to Sydney and spoke to my manager, Braithen Astor, and I was signed, sealed, delivered to the Dolphins. I shook his hand and said, I'm done. I'm going. And he was like,
so you said you were going to go?
Yeah, I was going to go, yeah. I was 1 foot through the door, and I almost my whole body through the door. And then I just remember watching the grand final against Penrith and what was it? Para. I watched how Penrith how much success they had, and they won a grand final again this year. But last year, I just wanted to be in that position and where they were again. And I felt like I wouldn't be able to, it would be a bit more of a rebuild kind of thing at the Dolphins. And in those 4 years, I probably wouldn't have made finals, So I was like, I don't really want to be jeopardising that for the money. I felt like I'd rather have the next 4 years playing finals footy than earning I probably would have lost almost up to 2.5, 3 mil, if that makes sense. And I was like, nah, don't worry about it. The money's not everything. I'd rather be happy. And decided, I spoke to my mum, and she was happy for me to stay in Melbourne and want to be a one-club player. I remember telling her as a kid, if I got the opportunity to play NRL footy, I would want to stay with one club. And I got the opportunity to obviously sign a security deal 4 years and hopefully see it out more than these 4 years, and hopefully keep playing the style of footy I want to play. But yeah, then my missus was over the moon that I decided I wanted to stay. She was happy for whatever we wanted to do, but she was loving Melbourne, and she wanted to obviously be at the club. It's a very family club, and the culture is ridiculous here, and that's something that made me want to stay. And when you got blokes like Bellyache and Frank and the coaching staff that are willing to do anything they can to have you play the best footy you can and succeed, and I was more than happy to lose the money. Yeah.
Oh, well said, mate. It's a test to your character. You're a good fella, and the loyalty you've shown, it's why the Storm are so good. There's so many players that have gone before you, and obviously there's some guns coming through as well. So yeah, it wouldn't be the same without the money man hanging around. I must say, the boys love you in the locker room when you speak to them. Let's go back to your career. You're now at the Storm, like you said. You got your opportunity. Where was your breakout moment where you go, I've arrived, and shit, this is everything I dreamed about?
Yeah, well, I got the opportunity to play my debut game in 2014. Slatsy obviously got injured in Origin, and I remember playing only my game with Cameron Smith because Cooper Cronk broke his wrist. But I think it was 2016 when I felt like I made it, or felt like I believed to be there. One game in 14, I think 8 or 9 maybe games in 15. But I felt like we still made a prelim that year against the Cowboys. That ended up winning that competition. But yeah, I felt like 16. We made the grand final against the Sharks. Just lost the last couple of minutes in the grand final, and that was my first probably full year. And yeah, I felt like I was playing fullback at the time, and a testament to Cooper and Smithy. They obviously changed the game plan and the structures and footy style that we wanted to play for my kind of style. And yeah, look, it was it ended up working well for us that year. I know Billy's a lot different player to myself, and yeah, they just changed structures in certain plays and to be able to adapt to myself, and yeah, ended up making me a better player than I thought I ever was going to be. And yeah, and then we made the grand final that year. We lost to the Sharks, which was disappointing compared to the obviously not knowing like we won minor premiership by minor premiers that year, and I thought for sure I was very confident going in the game that we could win that, and this shows when you're too confident, times it can go the other way. So that was something that really stuck with me and really hurts to this day. A what if kind of moment. But then 2017, I was playing fullback at the time, but Bill come back, and Blake Green was the 5'8" at that time, and he ended up going to another club, and I had a lot of anxiety knowing that I've played so well in 15 and 16, and then obviously a guy like Briley Slater comes back and an immortal of his position, will be immortal of the game, the way he's changed fullback as a sport and as a position. But I just know I had so much anxiety. I went and seen Matty Johns. He was an attack coach for us at the time with Cooper, and I had so much jitteries and I was so nervous about changing position because I was so foreign. I used to play 5 when I was a kid, but it's a little bit different to play in NRL. So when I changed to 5'8", I was like, I had goosebumps and I was so nervous. And I think the first couple of times I went and trained with Matty, obviously Matty was a great of the game as well. And I think I literally threw 2 or 3 balls on the ground when I was training with him. I remember him saying in the potty going, fuck, Storm's no hope. And then I remember just going, oh my God, what am I doing? And then I guess the more I got into the year, it was probably one of the best seasons the club's had for a long time. We only lost, I think, 3 or 4 games in the regular season. And some of them games obviously were through origin period. So a lot of younger boys come through and played. And yeah, ended up playing my first origin game in a decider in Brisbane. And we ended up winning that game and ended up holding the shield up and had one of the best probably debuts or best games of my life, to be honest. That's when I felt like I deserved to be in that game in an arena and in rugby league as well. And I was still kicking and pinching myself going, I've played the game of my life and it's in the biggest game of the year and against the best of the best of each, obviously, state. And then that obviously rolls around. Played in the grand final against the Cowboys. Michael Morgan pretty much carried the Cowboys on his back with Tom Malolo for that year, and because JT got injured, so he obviously didn't play the grand final. So it could have been a different story if JT played, but I just remember we won that game pretty convincingly. I think it was 36 something to 6. So yeah, I remember that year being the most dominant year the Storms had for obviously remembers the dates. I'm pretty sure every time I speak to someone that 2017 team was one of a kind. And then 2018, it was a bit of a great year for myself. Obviously, Cooper went to the Roosters. I won my first player of the year a year for the Storm, but kind of hindered the year. We made the grand final against the Roosters, against one of our old teammates, Cooper, and to this day he's a bit of a nemesis now for leaving. What could have been back-to-back finals, but if he stayed. But in saying that, I probably played the best year of my life, and obviously so many highs in that year to go to a grand final where the Roosters were a big dominant team, and they pretty much played us off the park the first 20 minutes of the game, and we were chasing our coattails, and we were nowhere near in the game that we needed to be in, and we lost that game the first 20 minutes. But I remember getting sent for 10, trying to hold someone down the first 20 minutes or 25 minutes there, and I got sent for 10, and then obviously the pressure and all the stuff that I mounted on the game. The game was done and dusted, and I had a bit of a brain explosion and a bit of a brain fart, and obviously just like lashed my leg out a little bit to Joseph Manu, and I didn't touch him, but it didn't look good, and it looked like I tried to kick him in the head, and yeah, it just went from that moment, and that's just that snowball of effective pressure, and I ended up getting sent for 10, so I ended up having the most sin bins in a grand final. So it's a bit of history there for me as well. So I'm in the history books. But
little trivia question there for the trivia night.
But yeah, look, it's So now looking back at it, I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, I had a great year. Everything was going well for me, and then everything can just be taken from you in a split second, and kind of changed a lot of perception and that about myself around the game and being called a grub. But I ended up just going back to what worked for me and trying to get back to the style of footy I know I can play and not playing that grubby style of footy. I've had some moments more in the years come by, but and then obviously 19. Which was another good year. We had a really good successful year, similar to 17, but we bailed out against the Roosters. They went back to back, and then 20 was obviously COVID. It's something that that year I'll remember for a long time. Obviously won a grand final against Panthers and 26-20, and now they look at the way they've been playing their footy and that get a bit of obviously they've been doing such a great stuff for the last 4 years, and what kind of side they are, and they'll go down as probably one of the great teams that probably ever played our game now, and we were able to beat them in 2020, and then had a great 2020 series where everyone thought we had the worst Queensland team of all histories, and we ended up beating a team that was star-studded lineup, and I take that to the grave of me, saying that I obviously won the Wally Lewis medal that year, and that was probably one of my most breakout years of obviously consistent footy, and that's something that I will go to my grave with of 2020, and I'm sure a lot of people will remember the year because of COVID at that time as well. And the year that got away for me is 2021. We matched the most consecutive games won in a season by 16. I think it might have been 20 actually, with the St. George team from 1960 something. So we were obviously matched it with them, and then played against the Panthers that we never thought we would play in a preliminary final. We thought we would have played them in the grand final, but ended up playing them a week earlier than expected due to the fact that South played really good footy against them the week before. And then we played out in Suncorp, and just literally thought, I thought nothing could go wrong for us. And I thought we had the year sewn up, and I was pretty confident with the players we had. Just unfortunately things didn't go our way. We lost by 2 points, or it might have been 4 points. And then now that obviously that year's done, you've just shown how dominant now the Penrith Panthers are, and it's a year that's gone by for us, and that's something that year still haunts me to this day. If there's any years that I thought we deserved to win it, if not, it was one of the years that anyone could have won that competition, and unfortunately we played our worst game in the most crucial game of the year. And then 2022, good year for Queensland. Probably one of my best years. We'll probably dive into it a bit more with me obviously getting in trouble in 2021, and then not drinking alcohol for a year in 2022, and probably had one of my most consistent standout years, and I was lucky enough to win the Player of the Year again for the Storm. And it was something that I look back on and go, wow, adversity, and no one really gave me a chance to play the footy I could play in 2022, and proved a lot of people wrong. Obviously this year was a bit of an up and down year consistently for myself, but hoping to find form for 2024.
No, I appreciate you recapping that, because there's a lot in there, and now we've just given everyone a great snapshot of, your career to this point. But let's go back to 2020, like the COVID year. You did bring a lot of joy to a lot of people. You talk about, let's go state of origin. You talked about being the king, but
not me.
No, but like just state of origin in general. I want to know what does it feel like to just perform on the big stage? It's such a different concept. Like as I said, AFL background over here for all the NRL listeners, and obviously love all sports, but state of origin is something that I feel like NRL do it better than anyone could do, and everyone watches it. It's a big event. It's like having 3 grand finals. It's massive, and you consistently perform really well, and you're representing Queensland. Like, what does it mean to play in those games? And do you get a little bit more nervous? Like, because I don't know, watching you don't look nervous. You look like you're the calmest bloke on the field.
Yeah, I think with Billy Slater being our coach, he's obviously a former Origin great, and just the way he instills belief and confidence in you. And as a kid, that's all I wanted to do was watch. Obviously, I watched footy as a kid, and obviously State of Origin. And I remember just watching Queensland play and how much pride and passion they had for the jersey, and I'm sure New South Wales are the same. And just every time I don that maroon on, I just feel 10 foot tall. I don't know what it is. I feel like I'm more comfortable in that arena than a probably rugby league game, and just don't know why, but I just feel more relaxed and I just play the style of footy that I like to play. I guess the referee doesn't blow the whistle as much. He lets the game go and flow. And I guess I'm more of a grinder, worker kind of man. And I guess when people start getting tired, that's when I start to be able to shine a little bit better in certain stages of the game. And I don't really think about it too much. I just play what's in front of me, and at times it works and sometimes it doesn't. And I'd rather go at the end of the game going, oh, well, that didn't work, I'll go again, where I'd rather be sitting there going, yep, I did everything I can, instead of being, oh, what if I did this?
Yep.
What if I did that? If it comes off, it comes off. If it doesn't, then I'll bite the bullet and cop the criticism from everyone around the game that it wasn't the right idea or wasn't the right thing to do. And I'd rather someone having a go at me about trying something than just sitting there and not trying at all.
That's what they say. You're unpredictable. You're hard to plan against. They don't even think you know what you're doing half the time. That's how good of a player you are in situations. And generally they are big moments, and you've proven that on the biggest stage. What's it like when you win State of Origin? You're the man of the match. You've just won the series for your state. You know, these are things as a kid, like you grow up to do, and you're doing it. And the post-match interview, you can see the lady who comes over with the microphone and says, you know, Cam, congratulations, you've just won State of Origin and you're the man of the match. Like, do you ever sit back and reflect and go, fucking hell, this is crazy?
Yeah, sometimes I think, fuck, were they watching the game sometimes? Look, it feels so great knowing that I did everything I could to obviously win the game for Queensland, and they've obviously seen things in the game that I was able to do, and obviously the judges have been the 3-2-1, and they think I was the best player, and it gives me a lot of joy knowing that having my last name on the back of my jersey and being able to see all these Queensland fans and just obviously shouting out Queenslander, and knowing that I've won the Player of the Year, also Player of the Match, and just gives me like so much confidence knowing that I've got a great team around me to be able to do that. And some of the boys sometimes probably played a lot better, harder working game than myself, but because of the moments that I've been able to achieve or be able to execute, they don't get those moments. And I think at the moment, like this year, it showed like most of our middle forwards won a lot of the Player of the Matches this year, and it just shows why. And they've done so much work in the middle for us as players on the edges to be able to execute. And some of those moments that I was able to execute was because of those guys doing the foundations for us in the middle. And it's something that I still pinch myself about, especially in 2020 with some of the stuff that I was able to achieve and able to do.
When you're playing with, what's it like? There's so much to dissect in State of Origin, because you got your teammates. So you got Storm, right? And I know like Pappy, you know, New South Wales. You know, the hate between New South Wales and Queensland's as high as it can get kind of in sport these days. But your teammates, you love each other, you know, you're as close as you get. But for those few weeks that you don't like each other, and you know, you got to go up against your teammates, and you got to, you know, you're representing your state, and you like, how do you approach these games? Do you like start to shift your mindset and say, I now hate you, even though I'm going to love you in a few weeks because I'm going to go back on the, you know, climbing the hill to try achieve greatness and win another premiership? Like, what's it like? Because yeah, it's just unfamiliar territory for anyone in the AFL industry, to be honest. And when they have done these things in the past, it's been a bit of a, you know, bruise-free kind of game where it's more entertainment. But this is serious. So I want to know what it's like.
Yeah, it's funny, Tommy. I remember, like, obviously a week out or maybe 2 weeks out before the games, or first game or second game, and obviously the blokes are in contention. And I just remember some of the boys in their team just like obviously go from New South Wales. There's a fair few of them. Just start getting real negative and real dirty and ruthless to you, and start calling you dogs, and like start like getting really, really angry.
Personal.
Really personal. And I'm just like, hang on, hey, it hasn't been picked yet. I'm not playing yet. Like, just be careful. And then we obviously got some Fijian boys, Papua New Guinea boys, Kiwi boys, and 9 times out of 10 the Kiwi boys and the Fijian boys are all on the Queensland train, and the Papua New Guinea boys. And I think a lot of the New South Wales boys get the shits about it and getting angry about it, because obviously there's more Polynesian kids on our side in our team and in our game, and I'm sure there's a lot of Polynesians that obviously follow New South Wales as well. And the game's so massive, but a lot of the boys in our team that aren't from New South Wales but are more like from Fiji or Papua New Guinea or New Zealand.
They pick Queensland.
Most of them pick Queensland, and they get the shits about it, and Samoans as well. And I know Youngie Tomapeya is a Blues man, but there's a couple of boys that are Samoan and Tongans and that, and they're more Queensland. So, yeah, it's a bit of a icy situation in that, and there's always chat getting thrown around, especially on game day and our Storm WhatsApp. And
even on game day of Origin, like go shit house today, boys, or whatever.
Like, good luck, boys. I hope you lose. And, it's the same as like they obviously the day of the State Origin on Wednesday, they have like people wear your blue or wear your maroon, and most of the time it's more majority of Queensland, and there's a lot of questions getting thrown around about obviously bandwagons and turncoats. So yeah, it's a great concept, a State Origin, and it's always a good debate. And I'm sure the boys like Paps and that, they get pretty personal.
When you go to the State of Origin camp and they're selecting the squad, and as you know, it's the elite of elite, New South Wales and Queensland, is there a bit of ego going around, or everyone's very level, measured, good friends, very professional, or is there a bit of like, because as I said, it's a unique concept where you're clashing with these guys yearly, and then just for that patch of the year, your teammates and you're on the quest to greatness of winning State of Origin. So give me the insights of what it's like when you walk into camp and you see all these blokes that you're butting heads with, and then they become your teammates.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good actually. We can really like switch it off and flick a switch, and boys know where they're there to do a job. And we get along with so many boys in those teams. Very rarely have we ever gotten a fight or an argument with them. But this year we did with Paddy Carrigan, me and Harry, and Paddy. I think Paddy was trying to get Harry off his game a bit. It worked. I just think we're obviously really good mates, a lot of the Brizzy boys and that. And some of the boys that are from other clubs. It's hard sometimes. Like, I've never had a run-in with some of the boys, but I always try and give them stick in the game when we're playing against each other and that. But it's probably more like blokes like Josh Adokar, like 2018 and 19 when I was playing. They went back to back in the series wins, and I could tell like we're really good close mates, me and Addo, and I could tell he was very smug like when he went after the series wins, and he didn't say anything, but he just looked at me and just like give me the thing, and I was burning inside, and but he never if one of us ever won a series, we never rubbing in each other's faces, So, it's one of those things where you're obviously proud of your state, but then you got to be able to flip it off and go back to playing team footy with each other, So, yeah, it's one of them dynamics. It's hard sometimes because you played against each other, you go on a war against each other, trying to win against each other, and then you go back to being teammates. It's a weird thing and it's a weird feeling, but I guess being a professional athlete, you got to just try and switch that off and just go back to the style of footy that you both can play.
When you walk in, and let's stick to State of Origin quickly, but when you walk in, I don't want to put you in a hot seat here, but just who's the one bloke that you just walk into camp and start laughing at? Like, who do you love seeing first?
He's not there anymore. But apologies. Probably Alfie Langer. Every time I walk in there, I know if I'm picked for Origin, that's the first person I like to see and get excited about because he's a ball of fun, Alfie. There's obviously so many stories about him and how he can control a room and chat, and just love watching him go about his business. I would have loved to have played in his era. Just the way he can control a room, get everyone laughing, and he's one of a kind as an ex-player. But for players, at the moment, it's probably like Cherry Evans or Ben Hunt. I've had a fair bit to do with those two fossils. I reckon every time I get to see them in camp, it's pretty good. Younger boys, probably Paddy Carrigan or Paddy and probably Val Holmes. Val, because he's a golfer. So I know I've got a golfing buddy. But then probably obviously this hang out and talk shit too is probably Paddy.
Yeah, that's great. Great insight. And what about the one bloke you love going toe-to-toe with against New South Wales, Is there a bloke that you love to just beat?
Oh, probably not beat, but I reckon I've had a pretty good rivalry with Nathan Cleary. Like ever since before the World Cup last year, obviously we respected each other and knew a lot about each other, and I admire the stuff that he does now, like how hard he works at rugby league and in his game, and it shows the last 3 years and how dominant he's been. But he's probably someone I like to go up against and to see where I'm at as a player and as a probably as a player. And he's the best player at this current moment of our game, and you want to play against the best and beat the best. And I think every time we go toe to toe, because we're on the opposite sides of each other, playing against each other, And he's on my edge, and I'm on, and I just think I want to try and beat him in every little effort or thing we can do, but it's hard to do.
He's a good player.
He's
isn't
a
he?
freaky man, and he just showed those 20 minutes of playing against the Bronx, and it's probably one of the strongest displays you'll ever see in a grand final. So, yeah, he's something that I reckon as a competitor I want to be wanting to play against when the chips are down and you want to play against someone best of the best. I think he's probably one of the best.
Let's go quick fire. Funniest teammate you've ever played with?
Funniest player I've ever played for? Oh, Jesus.
This is with any team?
Funniest?
Yeah, it's going to go quick fire here.
Funniest. Will Chambers.
What about toughest?
Ooh. Jesse Bromwich.
What about fastest?
Josh Adokar.
Best leader?
Cameron Smith.
Second best leader?
Dale Finnecane. Actually, he's probably the toughest bloke.
And the best team you've played with, State of Origin and league, would it be the 17?
17, yes.
Yeah, 17. There you go.
2017, yeah.
The year where you had a bit of drama. We all have drama. The thing that sucks with athletes is drama. Everyone finds out, right? But with everyone else, they can get up to mischief. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about the drama. Talk about the comeback, the adversity. Like you said, no one gave you a chance. You made a mistake. You got in trouble, and you had 12 months off alcohol.
Yes.
That's what I'm more interested in, because we all love a drink. You're the most likable guy in the room. You make everyone smile. You make everyone laugh. You can't underestimate blokes like you. I love blokes like you. When you laugh, I laugh. I feel good. You feel good. Everyone feels good, right? So, but alcohol, generally, that's where you might have a beer. You relax. You don't drink beer just to get pissed. It's a social thing. And one of the things you committed to was no alcohol for 12 months after your little mishap. Talk to me about that experience and like what you had to go through. And also the adversity you faced, and then you hit it head on and you come back even better. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, it was a really tough time. I think I was on the phone with the owners of the club. They were ready to rip up my contract. They've heard it all before. I'll change. I'll do this. I'll do that. But I think me going to rehab for those 4 weeks was probably the best thing I ever did. Just more for a mental state and more just to be able to clear the curtains and clear the closet and just be able to just get myself right in a way of just trying to figure out what's causing these outlets and why am I doing this and why am I doing that. And it was a really good eye open on certain things on what was happening. And I guess first 2 weeks was no phone, so it wasn't ideal. My partner was pregnant at the time, so yes, it wasn't ideally great for the family. But I think looking back at it, I'm so grateful it happened. Just the way I've been able to change certain things in my life and do things a lot differently is what I feel has made us a lot stronger as a group. But yeah, obviously for 4 weeks there, come back, come out fit as a fiddle, come out guns blazing, smashed my yo-yo tests and blitzed every record I ever had at the club. I was firing ready to go for the preseason. And then, it was tough because we had preseason, end of season drinks. We had certain events. Obviously, the 25 years, I'm pretty sure, we had a lot of events during the year that I'll just go to, sit there and watch some of my mates be silly and not be able to interact at certain stages, because obviously once they get into a certain stage of drinking and you can't tolerate them anymore.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like you can sit there and just go, oh, yeah, no worries. So you're not on their level to be able to handle what they're talking about, and they're talking gibberish, and I'm going to myself, fuck, am I always like this? Like what are they fucking doing? It was good. Like I would be able to leave at certain stages of the night and didn't have any FOMO. Surprisingly, for a bloke like myself, I always had FOMO coming through the grades. Never wanted to miss out. I just realised like there was more to life than just doing what I was doing. And obviously I had my son and that, and now I've got a different why on my life. But it was tough, like the first 12 months. But I think the first 3 or 4 months was the toughest. Being able I had the mental strength and obviously of not going and going, nah, I'm done. Because I've done it so long, I was like, nah, I'm not going to break it now, like that kind of stuff. But I think this for me, like the first 3 or 4 months was the toughest, just to be able to say no to people. Like I think for me, I can't say no to people. I hate like letting people down. So me to be able to say the word no to people was the toughest to do. And obviously, like you said, I like to be around like a lot of people that like to make them smile and be energetic and and be able to be the person I like to be the most, like people laugh around the room and that. But I felt like I couldn't please anyone, and I felt at times the first couple of months I was like letting everyone down because I was like the life of the party, have fun, trying to be that kind of person, and I felt like I was letting everyone down, and it was more like boys are like, oh, what are you doing tonight? Like, are you coming in? Like, nah, mate. I'm like, oh, what's wrong? I'm like, oh, no, I'm not drinking for the next year. Oh, yeah, that's right. They kind of forgot at times, and they didn't believe me that I could do it. And now looking back at it, I had a really great year in 2022, and I'm honestly thinking about doing it again after December the 31st, after I get married.
Yeah, right. So that's it's amazing effort. It's funny you said that. I was just thinking about it the other day. I was a bit crook, and my mates were at the pub, and I said, "Oh, boys, I'll meet you after the game." And I went and I just looked at like an Instagram story, and they were all blind. I thought, "Fuck that! I'm not going down there because they're on a different level." And when you're not drinking and everyone else around you is, it's tough. It's tough. To do 12 months as an Energizer bunny like you are, it's a great effort, and I'm sure you surprised yourself. Like you said, everyone probably think you couldn't do it. You probably surprised yourself. But what was the hardest part about it? Like, 12 months. Like you said, 4 months was probably when it started to get easier. But what was the hardest part?
Oh, like when the boys will have like team events or like a full-in like team event, like everyone's going on a boat party or going on an event, and it's purely to have a piss up. That was probably the toughest because I obviously have to show face and be there. Like if they had like if it was a team event, like if some of those boys go, oh, we're going to the pub, like, do you want to come? I'm like, nah, I'm fine. But if there's a whole team going, that was the toughest thing, I reckon. Just because it was a social thing. Like I used to always go out on weekends and that and go have a beer and that. And that like I couldn't remember. I think the last time I went out like maybe a couple of weeks ago. But I reckon that was the first time I've gone out with the boys at nightclubs or bars 10 months. Again, like I reckon, and I ran into some of the security guards and stuff, and they're like, where have you been? And I'm like, nah, mate, that's not me anymore. I don't come back. I don't go out that much anymore. But yeah, no, it was just eye opener. Like the security guards asking me where I've been, and like I obviously had a couple of beers this year, but never went out. So it was always after games and away games. I'd drink a beer in the team room or stuff like that. So yeah, it was different. And that also, I reckon, it was a tough thing for me was. Going to team events as a whole team, and everyone's there blind, and I'm sitting there by myself. I think that was the toughest period. But in saying that, I knew it wasn't only for myself that I needed to prove this wrong. It was to be able to keep my family afloat. Like if I broke that, who knows where I'd be. So it was a little bit of a like. From a thing from the club going, like, you need to meet this, because we obviously, like I said, I had to go back to the club with a plan. Obviously, we have 4 weeks, and now I'm not going to drink for 12 months. So if I broke that, like, there goes my contract, So it wasn't only myself that I was going to be hurting; it was going to be my family as well. And I could live with it if it was myself, but knowing that the little boy, my partner as well, at that stage, I knew it wasn't only my own life that I was hurting as well.
Nah, well said. Oh mate, I don't know many blokes that could have done it, but like obviously you had the willpower, like, and the contract and the agreement. What and feel free not to share if it's too personal, but rehab, the facility, they obviously go through a thorough process and dive deeper into why, I'd imagine. Are there anything you can share with like the Aces listeners and people, including myself, of like just some tips and advice? Because everyone does drink. Some people might be going through it tough, but they're too scared to go to rehab or put their hand up. Is there anything that you could share where you'd say, oh yeah, I definitely think you should ask yourself these questions and write, and see if this relates to you. If so, then why you're doing that, or anything like that?
Yeah, like funny enough, I ended up doing like an ADHD test because at the current stage of a kid, I wasn't diagnosed with ADHD, but did the test and that in there, and I ended up being ADHD. And yeah, look, it was something that I was an eye opener to. Like obviously, certain things like I can't remember certain things. Like if you give me 3 or 4 things to do, I'll forget 1 or 2 of them. So it was one of those things. Also, too, haven't got the attention span to be able to do things that's like for so long. A bit of a goldfish moment, but for me, I think what changed was the diet. Like first couple of days I went in there, they obviously did a gluten-free, like vegetarian, like veggie, like vegan diet and that. And I didn't realize how bad my gut health or everything was. Like my whole stomach was churning for like days, like first couple of days. And just showed how unhealthy my whole body was, you know, and that was something that I really thought. And then my mind started to be clear, you know. So the more healthier I ate, the more my mind was clear. And my missus was like, wow, like when I got out, I was present. I was so like a different person when I got out of it. And she was like, wow, you need to keep doing this. And I was like, yeah, I know. But probably for myself, like I just probably lent to certain things or as an outlet was alcohol. Obviously things as a kid. I had a couple of mates that committed suicide, and I'm sure a lot of people have mates that commit suicide. But for me, I was probably more of a coping mechanism for myself. If something ever went bad in my life, or I'd make myself feel better by drinking. And it wasn't the way that I've obviously spoken to about other things in my life. And yeah, that was something that really resonated with she. That was pretty much an outlet of me and of me. Like if I feel bad or down at times, if I have a fight with someone, or for me, that was my way of grieving, and was drinking. And it wasn't healthy for not only myself, but everyone around myself. And I think that was something I just did was golf, and did things that I really enjoyed and wanted to be present. Actually, funny enough, they had horses there at the rehab place in Brizzy, and it was like a little bit of a tour, like a bit of a chore, but not a chore, but like an assessment exercise they wanted me to do. And I was like, didn't really think much of it at the start, and I was like, well, I don't really see how this is going to make me like any better, and like what I'm going to do in my life. But it just showed like horses are always in the moment. Like for example, if I wanted to, like I wanted to pat the horse would run away from me. Like it didn't want to borrow me. But then 5 seconds later, I could go and touch it.
Yeah.
Like it's always got different emotions, but they're always present and always in the moment. And that was something that resonated with me, was like being on your phone, heaps, social media, how bad the drug is, and how you always want that social media bug or high.
Yeah, the fix, yeah.
The fix. And I don't have notifications on my phone anymore. Don't sit on my phone as much. I'm more present with my kids and more present with certain things in my life, where a lot of people probably sit on their phone and hit on their screen time and do all that kind of stuff. But that was something that really resonated with me a lot, was like just being in the moment with the horses. And the horse could love me for those 5 seconds, but then be off me the next 5, you know? So
yeah.
it was just like obviously different personalities of horses, but it was just more of like a trust thing and just being in the moment. Like, yeah, that was something that really, really opened my eyes. Of one day I could go down in the morning, see the horses, pat them, and the next day they wouldn't want to borrow me, you know? They wouldn't come up to me. It was just being always in that moment of this. Yeah, I just think that was something that really opened me up, and I'm like, wow, I want to be more present in my life with certain things I'm doing.
Well said, mate. And I appreciate you sharing all the things you just shared about, because not only myself but everyone listening, we all grieve certain ways, and no one's perfect, and no one has the courage to speak up like you. Not no one, I shouldn't say that. Not everyone has the courage to speak up, especially with a profile of your own, and it's quite courageous to open it up, because like I said, a lot of people don't go to these, they don't know where to look, right? And what you just said, some great tips, being way more present. That's something that I definitely need to be way better with. The phone is a massive issue, considering you can do everything on it, emailing, contacting, organising, you're connecting with your friends. It's sometimes too hard to call, so you're in WhatsApp groups and then they just don't stop, and eventually it's just like, where'd the day go? So yeah, you're spot on, mate, and that horse analogy is fantastic. I can already visualise you when you retire up in the Queensland, once your career's done, one club player with a couple of ex-race horses up there on a big farm or something, or near the coast there, sunny coast. That'll be you, I reckon, back when you finish up.
It'd be nice to have a couple of horses, but it's probably too expensive, to be honest, mate.
If anyone can afford a horse, it's
you, Tommy, yeah.
Let's talk about horse racing. You do love your horse racing.
Yeah.
Spring Carnival coming up. What is some of your favourite memories of Spring Carnival? Any that come front of mind?
Yeah, I actually, funny enough, I was watching Humidor almost beat Winx at Cox Plate 2017. That was actually World Cup year. The boys just played against England, and then the next day we obviously got tickets to the races, and we're lucky enough to be in a marquee over watching the finish line, and I ended up running into Regan Bayliss and Jake Bayliss and that.
Oh, Regan. Reggie. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
we love Regan.
Remember running into them, and they got us up. They got me up to the stewards on halfway up on on the on the finish line. And I remember just watching it and watching Winks obviously win again. But it was one of the races that I remember. Obviously, I watched Winks other times at the Cox Plate at home, but that was the one time I thought Humidor might have got it done. He almost beat her at the finish line. But what a horse! That was probably one of the iconic moments I remember. And then obviously finished the races and ended up going to the iconic Shane Warne 23 club in Crown, and Huey Bowman was there with the Silks.
Oh, that's special.
Of Winks' Silks, and I remember got a photo with him and Bill. Bill was obviously a massive horseman, and he still is. He's got his own thoroughbreds over in Berwick there, and I just remember him obviously knowing Huey from time to time, and I was lucky enough to be rubbing shoulder to Bill. So in the World Cup, and he obviously introduced me to Huey, and what a jockey, and what a moment.
HP Ham _123. If you could play professional golf, would you give up NRL right now?
100%. I'll save the body. I'll be able to play sport till I'm 50 or 60.
You'd be outstanding in Arizona, I reckon. Munster, is next year our year from your dad?
From my dad, Steve?
No, not your dad, Steve, but this guy's name's your dad _.
He's my dad. I hope so. One better than this year going past. The younger boys will be a bit more experienced, and hopefully we can play a bit better in the spine.
Favorite? Here we go. Cody Willie, quite unique. Favorite color of underwear?
Black.
Can't be white.
Nah,
not the way you wipe your ass.
Not the way all the boys scrunch and fold. If they scrunch, they'd be right.
Oh, there's some funny questions that come through here. I won't ask you this one, but Brentos has written, what porn category is your favourite? Like, come on, Brentos. Righto.
Role play.
Let's get into it. What's it like being a king? Thanks, Cupid Guest. What do you think of the golf courses in Yarrawonga from Joshy Boz?
Joshy Boz, I haven't actually played. The owner of our club, Matt Tripp, is from an area of Yarrawonga, and he takes some of the boys down there to obviously experience Yarrawonga golf clubs. I've heard nothing but good things about them, but at those stages where they've gone, I haven't been able to attend.
Here's a good one from Movan Sharma. What would your message be to the young Broncos lads on the grand final performance? They just lost. Cleary put on a clinic, but you've been there, you've done it, you've won, you've lost. What would your message be to those boys who might need some support and advice?
Yeah, it'd be something similar to what I think Nathan said. You got to win one, so you got to lose one to win one. And I lost one in 2016, and then won 17, and then lost 18, and then won 20. So Nathan lost 20 to us, and then look at his run now. He's won 3 in a row, and I guess when you get to the big dance, you're just happy to be there, and you want to hope to win. But I think once you've experienced obviously losing one, it just gets that more hunger to want to win one, and I'm sure they'll come back bigger and better next year. And they weren't too far away from it this year, and I know they'll be kicking themselves with what happened, but expect a fiery Brisbane Broncos team next year.
Oh yeah, and a quick side. They're great to watch. Kiana asks a really good question here. Who has been the most impactful person in your career? Career, that is.
I'd have to say probably Craig or Billy Slater, both of them. There's certain situations. Obviously, Craig guided me as the person I am, down the path I wanted to go and as a human being. And then Billy Slater, just obviously, just how passionate and how driven he is, and he wants success, and he's worked hard for success. And that's something I really admired, and that's something that I try and copy as a player, of just being so competitive and working at your trade of wanting to be the best.
Speaking of Bill, the next question, Duncan Cameron, would Billy be a great head coach for Storm? And this is not being disrespectful to Ballyache, as you would call him, but if he was to eventually stop, would Billy be the perfect replacement?
I think he would be. He knows the game better than most people. He has showed the success he has at Queensland. Whether he wants to do the job or not, I'm not putting any pressure on him, but he understands the game really well. Knows what it requires to win games, and knows what it is to win grand finals and be able to play consistently at your best. And I've never seen a guy do so much video on players in his own team.
Oh, loves it.
Oh, he loves it. He knows more the better. He knows what you do like in games, and he shows blokes in our Origin team like what it shows to when you play your best game, and shows what you've been doing in those games. And that's what I mean about belief. He just puts so much belief in people, and I'm sure if you got a hands on an NRL team like the Storm with all the young boys coming through, you'll show how much improvement they've had, especially like what Bellyache does with players as well.
Well said, mate. One more from me before we go to RIXX Eyewear and Milwaukee Tools, our handiest moment in RIXX on tour to close it out. Mate, what's your best round of golf? You can't sit here with me and pot Welshie every time you come on unless you must be all right at golf, and I think you are. What has been your best round ever? What how many strokes?
How did it actually started probably March, I reckon, March or May when we were around pre-season time. 13th beach. I think I hit 6 over.
Wow.
6 over.
That's no one got the bug.
And I hit 6 over, and I reckon I 3-putted the last 2 holes.
So you had an outstanding day.
I had an outstanding day, and I probably had a chance for both pars, and I bogeyed them because I 3-putted.
Oh, no. When did you 3-putt late?
The last 2
Are
holes.
you looking at your scorecard?
Yeah. I looked at my scorecard going, oh my God, I'm a chance here.
Yeah.
And I literally hit 2 bogeys on the last 2
How many
holes.
strokes is that? What number? Like
so it would be 72. I hit 78.
78. Geez,
So I was on par for 76, so 4 over, but I won't ever get
70s is amazing.
Oh yeah, I'll never get under the 72. Trust me, I'm not that good. But
Oh, you never know, mate. The way you apply yourself, you know what I mean?
yeah, but I ended up falling over the biggest hurdle, and it was the last hole was literally probably a foot away or 2 foot. I went to water.
Oh, mate, we all go to water. Well, mate, you don't come on here and go home without something in your hands. And to be honest, mate, we don't have this podcast without Milwaukee Tools and RIXX Eyewear. But Milwaukee Tools have been with us for a while now, and we love them so much. We can't thank them. We get to give guests their prizes. And today, mate, you get the brushless pruning shears with the leather holster, mate. So here you go. That's on behalf of Milwaukee Tools. Thanks for coming on.
Cut your own bushes?
That's for you to cut your own bushes, mate.
Is that the new Manscaped?
Oh, the Manscaped. It's lightweight design, offers maximum accessibility and control while reducing user fatigue. So
I'll be there for a
you
while,
can, while you're yawning here, mate, you can pull them out, the old pruning shears. 1,500 cuts per charge on a 13mm branch, and it comes with a 2.5 amp starter pack and a leather holster just to get you started, money man.
Mate, I'll be the fastest man in the West once I'm done with this. I'll be the best.
Now, mate, with Milwaukee Tools, we always ask our guests, what is your Milwaukee Tools handiest moment of your career? Now, I know you're a humble man, so don't sit here and go, oh, yeah. I know you've got more than anyone. So what is the handiest moment of your career? Can you think of it?
It'd have to be Queensland Cup against Burleigh Bears. Scored a long-range try. I think I might have got try of the year in 2012. Yep.
Oh, early days.
2012, 2013.
Was it a cracker try, was it?
Yeah. It was a good try. I think I ran 70 meters, and obviously I intercepted the ball. I was playing fullback, and there was 2-on-1, and I just went to Hail Mary and took the intercept, and went the other way. And
Can we get footage of it?
Yeah, you can get footage of it.
We love that. We love that.
And then the other one would just be 2020 Origin Series when I obviously get the 5th tackle from Cherry, kicked the ball, regathered it, and then they got the ball back. They knocked it on, and I caught. We obviously got the ball. Harry hit me, and I kicked for our winger, Edric Lee. That's probably the 2 handiest moments I can remember on the top of my head. That's
great. Talk to me about that second one. Break it down. What was going through your head in the moment? Like, are you thinking about this stuff? Like, give everyone an insight on how creative your mind is in these high-pressure moments.
I just remember standing inside Ches. Anyone doesn't know Ches is Daly Cherry Evans, and he was 5th tackle, and someone went and put pressure on him, so he got balked and then ended up just throwing it to me. And funny enough, I just reacted, caught the ball, and I seen Nathan in front of me, and got past him, and then kicked it behind their line, and it just so happens it was a perfect angle that went around, and I kind of went around them, and then it bounced perfectly for me again, and then someone was coming at me. I quickly put on the boot, and then it rolled back to their try line, and it was an ugly bounce for one of their players for the Blues, and he was juggling it, and Val Holmes come through and kind of hit him between the dowel zone or between the chest and the gut, and he lost it forward. And I remember Jai Arrow got tackled, and then Harry ended up flinging it to me, and they were obviously trying to get back on side, and they didn't get on side enough, and they come up hard, and no one was outside looking after Edric, and I put this ugliest kick. I I had all the time in the world to put it on the dime, and it come off the shin, and it's just bounced one way bad. And Brenko Lee ended up touching it and it went backwards, thankfully, because I was blowing up, going, how could he knock it on? But I was just angry because I knew I kicked the dog shit, and because I knew it was a perfect opportunity going begging, and it obviously went back. The referee seen it went backwards, and then Edric picked it up and scored, and I was cheering because I fucking butchered that.
Still, that's why it's the Milwaukee Tool handiest moment of one of your career. There you go. Well, the pruning saws, the shears, I should say, they're coming home with you, mate. You can clean the bush up wherever that bush is.
I need to clean both bushes up.
And then the RIXX on tour, mate. I must say thank you. We saw the Money Man's order the other week. You know, you put a couple of orders in. That's how loyal you are. You don't just want a freebie. You want to support businesses. You're a good man, and we do appreciate it, mate. What did you get? You picked up
the cherry Sohos.
The cherry Sohos. They're going hot at the moment.
They are looking good.
Sold out the cherry Soho.
Yeah, I've seen that. I was going to buy the green pair, but I don't know if the green pair finished yet. But I like this. The cherries, beautiful for my face. I'm going from a 4 to about 6 and a 7. So,
well, mate, hopefully we got you the Tribeca Champagne Tort. Head online at rixeyewear.com. Use our discount code ACES. You get 20% off and free express shipping. There you go, brother. There's the Tribeca.
Tommy, you don't want to look like me, guys. Fucking hell.
Oh, look at this.
Head for radio, but today I'm looking good.
Oh, look at this.
Oh, in the eye, yep.
Oh, mate, you go on the races, you put them on.
Oh, I'm going straight to Moonee Valley tomorrow night. Night races.
Mate, Rick's on tour. I love asking this. You got, your lovely partner goes, Cameron, you look stressed. This is the hypothetical. I think you need to go away for a week and you need to take 2 of your best mates that you play, footy with, and I want you to pick a location and I want you to take your RIXXies with you, and I don't want to hear about it. Just come back in a week.
Storm or just anyone?
I think Storm or Origin. Keep it. We'll keep it sporty for the the fans out there. Who would be the 2 boys you'd take, and what location would you take the RIXX with you, and why?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take someone that loves the party or likes to have fun, and I'm gonna have to try and take someone that can pull us into line as well, or keep us intact and make sure we don't do anything stupid. Storm or Origin? Hell.
Tough, isn't it? Just 2. Obviously, you want to pick 10, but you got to pick 2.
I'm going to go. I probably don't hang out with him as much, but I had a good relationship with him when he was here. Cameron Smith.
Yeah.
Just to keep your stress like nice and steady, knows right and wrong, won't go outside the box. And if he needs to tell you something that you need to do, or get yourself out of trouble, I'll be listening to him. And I reckon, I can't say his name. I'm going to say Jerome Hughes. I reckon Hughesy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hughesy be great fun.
Yeah. Hughesy likes to punt, likes to have a good time too.
Plays
golf. So we had to go over there, play a bit more golf. Hey, babe, we're just going for a golf trip. Cameron Smith plays golf too, so there you go.
There you go. Well, that means your location's up in the air at the moment. So where would you go? Plenty of great golf courses in the world.
There is. Pebble Beach, I reckon, would be nice over in America.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even mind trying like somewhere like Hawaii, or even St. Andrews.
Yeah, that's great. I saw Pebble Beach, Dwayne Wade hit a hole in one.
Yeah, how crazy is that?
First hole in one, and he was going wild.
He was going wild. How tall is he too? I thought he was because he was obviously short. Like I thought he was short, but he ain't short.
And he's they're just big men basketballers.
They're just different breed.
Different breed, mate. Different breed.
Like we're minimum. I'm probably maximum 6'6", and that's probably small to them. That's average for them.
Yeah, that's tiny.
I'm lucky to be 6
What are you, 6'2" online? But I don't feel like you're 6'2". What, 185 centimetres it says?
I'm 6'12".
I reckon you'd be 6 foot. You got the old. You're putting the old heel raisers in your feet when you do the team photos.
They reckon I'm 186 centimeters, but I reckon I'm 183, 184. Yeah, I haven't hit my peak. I'm still growing. I'm still growing.
Yeah, that's what I tell myself. Nah, have you hit a hole in one? That was my last question. Have you ever hit a hole in one?
Nah, my brother-in-law hit a hole in one, and he's only been playing for 3 years.
Does that hurt you?
And that hurts me. I've been playing for almost 15, and closest I've got is an eagle.
Oh, that's still not bad.
Yeah, it's still not good enough. I've not even looked likely hitting a hole in one.
Yeah, it's because the pressure comes. Every par 3 you go, oh, here it is.
And that's another thing that annoys me. Walshy claims that he's hit a hole in one, but it's on a par 3 course.
Oh, that doesn't count.
That doesn't count, surely. I
Well,
understand
does it count? That's a good question.
No, well, if it's a par 3 on a normal 18-hole golf course, go for your life.
Yeah.
But
Well, there's
you
no
can't-
clubhouse to put your name up there, is there?
No, you only can do it if it's comp.
Yeah, I know.
It's a grey area, I reckon.
What about-
if it's par 3, like par 3 course? How many people you reckon have hit a hole in one on a par 3 course?
Yeah, well, yeah, probably a few more. What about this one for a little quick one before we wrap up? But would you rather hit a hole in one next week on your own with no cameras and have to explain the story, or not hit a hole in one till you're 50, but you're guaranteed to get one when you're 50? And everyone's around. It's a big bucks party and it's all on camera.
I'll be happy just to make 50, Tommy. But I would go the 50-year-old.
Yeah, you'd want a special one.
I'd be mangled up, but I reckon I'm a chance.
It's on camera. You can share it for the rest of your life. Hopefully there's a few more years up to 50,
It'd
surely.
probably be a par 3 on an 18-hole golf course using driver at 50.
You just tap it up.
Just tap it up.
Tap and run.
I'll be swinging as hard as I can, I reckon, and still only just make it there.
Those old codgers, they just hit it dead straight, don't they? They just slap it up there three
It
times.
annoys me. We're trying to hit bombs, and they're just poking along, and they have a better handicap than you.
Yeah. Brother, I just want to say thanks so much for jumping on. Always wanted to get you on. Also, congratulations on the Clubhouse, the other podcasts that you've always done.
Thank you.
It's been awesome. All the stuff you've shared today is so cool, especially for all the fans of yours and all the rugby fans out there, and people can learn so much. So thank you. Thank you to everyone that continually tunes in. Thank you to Milwaukee. Thank you to RIXX. Without you guys, we don't have the show. And like always, you can let us know what you think. Comment. There's so many platforms you can comment on, whether it's YouTube, Spotify, Apple. We read them all. We try to get back to you. But yeah, thank you. Hope you're having a great spring. And once again, brother, thank you for coming on.
Thanks, Tommy Talks. I really appreciate Oz American Aces and RIXX and Milwaukee. Really appreciate the nice gifts, guys. And yeah, go the Storm.
Go the Storm. One more time, because I really mean it. I just want to say a massive thank you for all the support you continue to give us at the Oz American Aces. If you want to further support us, make sure you like and subscribe, hit the follow button so you can keep up to date with all our exciting shows and announcements. Righto, now it's time to give our sponsors a massive plug. Lead the charge with Milwaukee. Performance, power, precision, no petrol hassles. Learn more at milwaukeetool.com.au. Milwaukee. Nothing but heavy duty. Aces, I know I always talk about the RIXXs, but I got to offer you the discount again. In case you've forgotten, or in case you're sleeping under a rock, we have a special discount code for everyone that listens to this podcast or watch the podcast. It's ACES. Head online to rixeyewear.com.au and use the discount code ACES and you'll get 20% off. That's right, 20% off, 1/5 at checkout, and free express shipping. So head online, rixeyewear.com.au and check it out.